Just clog it with the stock. Just shove it down there. Let's put this thing out of business. All right? I'm sorry. I am pissed. Let me ask you, and it's not British Petroleum's fault per se. Per se, I love that. Per se. Per se, it's not. Per se, it's not British Petroleum's fault. Golly, Roddy Juge. Oh, Greg from Venice Beach, California is on the line. We must talk to Greg, and then I will rant on about British Petroleum and how horrible it is that nobody on earth thought, gee, maybe something of one day will happen to an oil rig, and we should have a plan in place. What is wrong with us, human beings? What is wrong? That nobody thought something like this could happen. What? It was just going to, never, for 500 more years, the rigs were going to be there. They'd never get rusted. There'd never be a hurricane that knocked one over. I mean, come on. It's the same thing with these nuclear plants, okay? I'm all for technology and, nuclear, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine, whatever, all right? But you know what? At some point, somebody's going to bomb a freaking nuclear plant, right? Somebody's going to do it. Thank God they didn't do it with 9/11. As horrible as that was, if they would have blown up Indian Point nuclear reactor, 5 million people might have been dead. So, and I'm not by any stretch downplaying 9/11, mind you. I'm just, we don't plan for things. Even 9/11 we didn't plan, right? Because everybody freaking knew that they tried it once, that, hey, they might try it again. All right? Anyways, that's my rant for the day, for at least 5 minutes, while I talk to Greg from Venice Beach, which is a good topic because Greg wants to talk about gold and silver. How you doing, Greg?
I'm fantastic, Waxman. How are you?
I'm all right. This is my friend Greg. I know that voice anywhere.
I'm sorry to interrupt you on sushi and porn, but I want to figure out what to do with my money.
All right. Well, what to do with your money? All right. So
let me just say, I'm very much a disaster scenario. Not as a disaster scenario, but I'm someone who says we can't just keep printing money.
Right.
It's going to bite us in the ass. And how do I protect myself?
All right. Okay. So this is a great question, and I get this often these days. There's a couple things that I have to say about this. Okay. One is that playing the disaster card is always tough because, if it's a disaster, we've already had them, right? So we've had some disasters. So now you're talking about a bigger disaster, okay? A global economic meltdown of some sort, or World War IV or V
I see it
or
more
whatever.
as a slow demise than a disaster.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right, so slow demise. All right. So if it's a slow demise, I mean, look, I own some gold. So I'm certainly a proponent of owning some gold. I wouldn't put 100% of my money into gold because, for a lot of reasons, it doesn't really have any worth other than what the perceived value is, okay? The argument from gold bugs is always, well, but, gold has been used for centuries. Yeah, all right, but, tulips were used at one point, and so were seashells, and I think that in Egypt, didn't they use those little bugs, I forget what they're called, that I don't know what they are, I forget, but they're like scarabs, yeah, scarabs. All right, so scarabs. So gold, I think has a place in everybody's portfolio if they're an investor, or if you have a lot of money or a decent amount of money or some money and you want to have a hedge against what certainly is going to be inflationary times. I don't care what they do or what they say, they are not going to be able to rein in the monetary system. And if they do rein it in, what's going to happen is that just means that inflation is out of control. So if the interest rates go to 5%, that just means inflation is probably 20%. So point blank, I think you should own some gold. I just wrote an article, Dow 5000, with the caveat being that if money is devalued so much that we become like Zimbabwe, or which is the worst case, I guess, or Mexico in the 70s and 80s, then the market probably will go higher from where it is. okay? Because that's the only way I can see the market going higher. So if you believe in the hyperinflation theory, and it happening anytime soon, then stocks are not a horrible place to be, and commodities. So you want to own land, you want to own oil, you want to own wheat, corn, anything agriculture. You want to own hard assets like gold as well that you can have in your hand. I mean, you're not going to bring like 50 million gallons of oil into your apartment unless you want to be really nice, and like that might be a way to cure what's going on the oil cam, is like take a pipe and put it down there and then put it into your bedroom. Like run the pipe into your bedroom and just let the oil flow there. That might be one way to kind of protect against inflation as well. Of course, you might have some other problems at that point, but at least you would help the sushi market. So I don't know if that helps you, Greg, but I certainly would recommend having some.
And just if you're buying gold, if you like gold and silver, are those going to go up in concert, or which one do you see going up more?
Well, it's interesting. I like silver. Okay, the problem with silver is, and I'm talking about if you're going to buy it, buy physical, have it. Okay, because the scenarios you're talking about, may happen slow and steady, but there's always the possibility of faster and not so slow and steady, right? So you might as well own it and have it in your possession, because there's no point in like letting somebody else own it. Because what if the disaster strikes there?
Gotcha.
Okay, if you're going to really get paranoid, and that's legitimate. But that hence the problem with silver, because silver is so much cheaper. But I like it better. Like, I think that silver could easily go to $25, $30, easily, without much of a problem. But then again, if you, depending on how large your apartment or your house is, if you want to put some amount of, decent amount or sizable amount of money into silver.
Which house?
What's that?
Which house?
Which house, right? Well, all right. So in your bungalow, Greg. Or your bathroom, you can like kind of take a shower with your silver and wash it off every day, or with you and your put it under the yoga mat. But no, I think that I like silver. I like silver because I think that it's lagged the gold move, and because there are more uses for silver. And I think at some point, if gold continues on its rise, which I think is probable, then I think that silver will at some point kind of explode to the upside. And if it was able to get to 20 and hold that, I think your next shot is right to 25.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. All right. So we're going to get Scott on the line for like literally 2 minutes. He's going to give the technical take for the rest of the day. He's on the line. Scott, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can barely hear you.
Okay. I'm going to talk louder.
Okay.
I'm going to shout. So what do you think here, Mr. TA?
Well, as long as the Al Gore news doesn't hurt us, I think I think we're looking pretty healthy for the day anyway.
What is Al Gore saying now? Did he invent? Did he reinvent the internet?
It was announced that he's splitting with Tipper. So
he's splitting with Tipper? Really?
Yeah, apparently they're splitting up. So
wow.
Other than that, things are pretty chipper, I think, in the market. So
chipper and Tipper, that's good.
We repaired the gap down. We've been fading most of the day. So
Scott, you made a funnies, Chipper and Tipper, right? All right. So
well, you and I are probably the only one laughing. So
yeah, well, I'm not really laughing, but I just wanted to make note of it.